As part of our 2A history project, here is a blast from the past.
You know, Larry, I've had this little Mini 14 for a while now, and I've always enjoyed shooting it. And I have a large capacity magazine that holds about 30 rounds. And am I doing something wrong here? Tell me something.
Well, if the BATF, if the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms has its way after the end of November, yeah, you wouldn't. Also, the United States Congress is working real hard this fall, as has the President of the United States, to get rid of magazines like that. They don't think that average people should have them, only the police and the military, kind of like in Soviet Union and other countries, other places of the world with governments that have kept their people down.
Well, you know, I really don't see the problem with this myself, and most people that have ever owned a gun, the only problems that we run into are with non-shooters and non-gun owners. Am I correct on this?
That's a fair statement.
The people who are trying to legislate our firearms out of existence are non-gun owners and non-shooters. And many times, people that live in houses with multiple locking systems and security, and some of these people can afford to have bodyguards. Well, you know what, folks? The police cannot protect you if you can't protect yourself.
You know that the United States Congress has its own police department, and it has more people in that police department than we have protecting our entire southern border. That gives you an idea how much protection they have.
Now you're talking about the congressman in Washington, D.C.
That is correct. They have their own, in effect, private police department, their own cars, their own training, everything, their own line of command, working just for the Congress of the United States to protect just those 535 individuals and their 30,000 employees, which is quite a few employees.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think I would want that many police running the streets in the U.S. of A. watching everything I did.
Well, right now, across the country, there's about 250,000, only about 150,000 police that are on duty at any one time to protect 250 million Americans. Obviously, that blue line is stretched way too thin to be able to protect us. And if we were to have enough police to protect us, you'd really need one per person. They can't be where you're going to be when you might be getting in trouble.
That's true.
So the idea that the police can protect us is an idea that is just simply not true. When trouble comes, we have to be able to protect ourselves. And calling 911 isn't protecting ourselves.
Well, if you look at the facts on how long does it take for a stabbing, for instance, to take place, just seconds. If someone is high on drugs or some other terrible substance that has them physically deranged, it only takes a moment to kick through a door. And we're not talking about a mansion with 47 locks on the door. We're talking about an apartment house where a single mother may live, or an older couple, someone who physically is not capable of withstanding the attack of a younger person or a larger person or someone who's having tremendous psychological problems.
Well, even a guy your size could have trouble if some goon breaks through who's been up on crack. He's not going to go down until you shoot him down. And if he sees the gun and you tell him that you're going to shoot him, many, many times that's not enough for these guys. You have to be able to carry that out. And if you're just bluffing on the other side of the door, that could be your last bluff.
You know, Larry, as a private investigator, which I've been for many years, I've talked to a number of rape victims, and without exception, they said why I was told by so-and-so, if they were unarmed, they said I was told not to buy a gun, to get a lock and call the police, and they said I'm going out and buy a gun. The police can't protect me. I'm going to learn to protect myself.
We know from work that's been done by Dr. Gary Kleck at Florida State University, he's a criminologist there, that you are twice as likely to be injured if you do not resist than if you were to use a firearm to resist a criminal when he's attacking you. So the advice that's been given to women especially, but to all of us, that, oh, just hand them the money, just give them anything they want. Well, sure, you do anything you want until you can get your gun. And then you better do something with it, because as long as you're at their disposal, they very well might kill you. Life is cheap in our time.
You're exactly right, especially in some of our extremely crowded inner city areas. I've seen tape after tape of convenience store robberies in progress the tapes that were taken after the fact, and I've seen time and time again, whereas the people gave up their money and then the criminal, the robber, shot them, or the robber stabbed them, or in the case, of course, other horrible things have happened. Well, we're not saying to go out and literally start become a Rambo type or something like this, and we'll edit this part here. I'm trying to get together what I'm going to say. Out. Okay.
Well, Johnny, I would say that when people say that, are you saying that everybody ought to have a gun that's out on the street? That's a question that doesn't have any consideration, and I would say any compassion, for those of us who are not black belts, who are not big strapping individuals, who nevertheless have to go in places where we very well could be set upon, and to tell us that we shouldn't have a gun is to tell us that we should volunteer to be victims. And I, for one, don't buy into that.
I certainly agree. I certainly agree. Well, I think, hey, let's shoot this Mini 14 and let's just see how much fun they can be. You know, folks, that's one of the purposes of our program, is to show how firearms can be fun, one, for the whole family, but they're great to relax with if they're handled safely and properly. So I think that Larry happens to like this particular Mini 14 pretty well, and we have some ferocious water jugs. Over here behind us, you'll see we have the ferocious hanging water jugs. We have a good shot of the attack water jugs there. Well, let's see what a basic Mini 14 with a 223 expanding point bullet looks like on the, this is the Larry Pratt Safari on the ferocious hanging water jugs.
All right,
let me get my ears on. Let me get my ears on. All right, sir, just push your safety off. It's ready to go. The attack water jugs.
So let us know what you think. We'll be watching the comments wherever you find the video, over on gunstreamer.com or on guntube.org. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourages you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com.